Have you ever been intimidated by a big goal you've set for yourself? It's a common feeling, really. That twinge of fear creeping in, the apprehension gnawing at your resolve. Why? Because big goals are, well, big. They're daunting, they're overwhelming. They loom large in our minds, casting shadows of doubt and uncertainty. This is normal. It's part of the process, part of the journey towards achievement. But don't worry, even the biggest goals can be conquered by breaking them down into smaller, manageable steps. The first step in tackling any big goal is to understand what it entails. This might seem obvious, but it's a step that's often overlooked. It's not enough to simply have a general idea of what you want to achieve. You need to delve deeper to really understand what you're getting into. Think of it like a map. You wouldn't set off on a journey without knowing where you're going, would you? Likewise, you need to thoroughly understand your goal before you can start to make progress towards it. This involves researching, planning, asking questions, and maybe even seeking out some expert advice. It's about getting a clear picture of what achieving your goal requires: the time, the resources, the skills, and perhaps most importantly, the commitment. Remember, knowledge is power. The more you know about your goal, the better equipped you'll be to tackle it. Once you have a clear understanding of your goal, you're ready to start breaking it down. Now let's get into the heart of the matter, breaking down your big goal into smaller parts. This process, my friends, is akin to slicing a loaf of bread. You wouldn't try to eat the whole loaf in one go, would you? Of course not. Instead, you'd slice it into manageable pieces. The same principle applies to your goal. By breaking it down into smaller steps, it becomes less overwhelming and more manageable. So, how do you go about this? Start by laying out all the steps you need to take to achieve your goal. Then, arrange these steps in order of priority. Your first step should be the most critical one, the one that gets the ball rolling. Next, assign a timeline to each step. This gives you a clear path and an end in sight for each part of your larger goal. Remember, Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither will your goal be achieved overnight. Patience and persistence are key. While setting these timelines, it's essential to be realistic. Don't set yourself up for failure by expecting too much too soon. And remember, it's okay to be flexible with your plan. Life happens, and sometimes you might need to adjust your timelines or even the steps themselves. With your goal broken down, you're not looking at a mountain anymore, but a series of small hills. And each hill climbed brings you one step closer to your ultimate goal. Breaking down your goal is a great start, but how do you stay motivated and track your progress? It's simple, really. Celebrate the small victories. Each step forward, no matter how tiny, is progress, and progress should be celebrated. It fuels your motivation, and it's one of the best ways to keep going when the going gets tough. But it's not all about celebrations. Discipline, consistency, and resilience play crucial roles too. Discipline means sticking to your plan, even when you'd rather do anything else. Consistency means showing up, day in and day out, even when you don't see immediate results. And resilience, that's about bouncing back from setbacks, learning from them, and moving on stronger than before. Use a tracking system to visualize your progress. It could be as simple as a checklist or as complex as a dedicated app. Seeing your progress can be a powerful motivator in itself. Remember, every step you take gets you closer to your big goal. So, let's quickly recap what we've learned about breaking down big goals into smaller steps. We started by acknowledging the challenge of big goals, those grand ambitions that can seem so intimidating at first glance. Yet, we've discovered that understanding these goals, really getting to the heart of what they mean and why they matter to us, is the first step towards conquering them. Next, we explored the art of breaking down these lofty targets into smaller, more manageable steps. Each step is a mini goal in itself, a tangible milestone on our journey towards the bigger picture. And let's not forget the essential elements of staying motivated and tracking progress. Keeping our spirits high and monitoring our advancement not only keeps us on track, but also fuels our drive to push forward. Remember, no goal is too big when you break it down into smaller steps. Now, go out there and conquer your dreams.